Hello everyone. Today we are just going to start the phases of the compiler. Basically there are two phases of the compiler: analysis phases and synthesis phases. Analysis phases creates the intermediate representation from the given source code, and the synthesis phases creates an equivalent target program from the intermediate code. In my first lecture, I have already explained what is compiler. So what is compiler? Compiler is a software program that converts the high-level source code into low-level machine code that can be executed by the computer hardware. So the process of converting the source code into machine code involves the several phases or stages, which are collectively known as phases of a compiler. So what are the phases? The first phase is lexical analyzer, second phase is the syntax analyzer, third one is the semantic analyzer, next one is the intermediate code generator, next code optimizer, and last one is the code generator. Okay, so we are going to discuss one by one. The first one is the lexical analyzer. What is lexical analyzer? This is the first phase of the compiler, which is also known as scanning. This phase reads the source code and breaks it into stream of tokens, which are the basic units of the programming language, and the token are then passed on to the next phase of the for the further processing. So next phase means the syntax analyzer. This is the second phase of the compiler, which is also known as parsing. This phase takes the stream of tokens which is generated by the lexical analysis and checks whether any kind of grammatical mistakes is there or not. The output of this phase is usually an abstract syntax tree. The third phase of the compiler is the semantic analysis. This phase checks whether the code is semantically correct or not. In this stage, the compiler checks the meaning of the source code to ensure that it makes sense or not. And this stage performs the type checking, which ensures the variables are used correctly or not. The compiler also checks for other semantics errors such as undeclared variable, any incorrect function calls are there or not. The next phase is the intermediate code generator. This is the fourth phase of the compiler. This phase generates an intermediate representation of the source code that easily translated into machine code. Then coming to the code optimizer. This is the fifth phase, and this phase applies various optimization techniques to the intermediate code to improve the performance of the generated machine code. Then coming to the code generation. What is code generation? This is the final stage of the compiler, and this phase takes the optimized intermediate code and generates the actual machine code that can be executed by the target hardware. And we can say that each phase of the compiler plays a very important role in translating the code. So hope all of you understood the different phases of the compiler which I have explained. Thank you.